I believe I see the green, so I think that means we are in the clear, fellas. WrestleMania talk, fellas.
Listen, Fitz. We live, bro. We live. Listen, Fitz. I just want to know one thing, Fitz. Just one thing, Fitz. I'm gonna start this off right. I have to start this off right.
I know what's coming.
How do you think AJ Styles feels after that spear?
That was a good match.
Do you think he still feels phenomenal?
I have a better question. How do you think Roman truly feels? Now listen, this is nothing different from any point. This is nothing different than any point in time in the wrestling business history, right? But to this level, to this extremeness, to where we will say that he has sicknesses that he may or may not have, but they are indeed publicized, to beating everyone this side of the Mississippi River and beyond. How do you think Roman feels? How do you think Roman feels knowing everything he has been given to him and not earned or created on his own two legs? How do you think he feels about that? He was given his Usos. He was given his tribal council. He was given these titles. He was given this weak-ass streak that was made up in Vince's imagination with the writers and their union circle jerk of Roman Reigns for the past 6 years. So how do you think he feels knowing at any point in time, just like the tattoo on that man's neck, Cody Rhodes is breathing down it. He breathing down his neck. How do you think Roman feels? Let me ask you that, POPDHEAT.
Tell me how you feel, Fat. How you really feel?
Acknowledging.
I'm sorry, my computer rebooted and it's doing all that stuff, so I'm sorry.
This is
at the moment.
This is beneath you. There
is one tribal chief that has 2 titles on his shoulder.
Oh my God. And what are they doing with that? Because I haven't.
They're gonna give him to Cody. They're gonna give him to the Prince, the Nightmare King himself.
This is what's going to happen. They're going to bring out a nice flashy title belt. They're going to bring out a nice flashy title belt. Roman Reigns is going to carry that title belt on his shoulder so he can mean just a little bit more. So he can give Cody a chance.
So
because he's the company man.
He's the single champ. He's working both shows. He don't have to drop one or...
No, it's unified. They're most probably going to bring in a new design or something like that, or something shitter or something. It's most probably going to be something shitter, to be honest, but we have to wait and see.
See, I don't know, because I would think if they, we already know it's a show, so they knew the belts were going to be unified. You don't think they would have had one ready already?
I think they got one ready. I think they got one ready, but I think they're only going to do it maybe after WrestleMania Backlash, which is the pay-per-view after this, possibly. Okay. That's what I think. But, nowadays with WWE, you can never tell because they just do what they want.
Okay. All right. Let's just ask.
But that's the idea, at least, though. I don't know.
Well, the real idea, right, is now that there's a real purebred champion and not something made in a lab, a John Cena wannabe, the Mr. Clone of the 5 moves of doom. I'll acknowledge Cena. He was the first massive shovel the WWE has ever seen besides Hogan. You're right.
If you're a thoroughbred, purebred wrestler, will stay for 2 years and then run away for another 6 years.
He didn't run away.
I'm just wondering.
He didn't run away. His contract was up.
He magically.
His contract was up. He's a contractor.
That, man.
He is a contractor. He is a contractor. Okay?
We'll just see. We'll learn what the true nature of the Nightmare is when he's not successful.
Listen, all I gotta tell you is,
WWE.
for your tribal queef, all roads lead to a nightmare. So I gotta let you know, boy. And you know what that means. Don't act like you don't, because you don't.
How long did you work on that?
Hey, I just came up with that. Overnight.
Just came up with that.
Overnight, my friend.
Oh,
All right, so
night one.
These matches are just, I guess, how they kind of presented them. But JKL kind of gave us a good idea, being that there's so many matches between night one and night two. We'll kind of go down the list. And as we go down, let's talk about the big matches, you know. And I guess the first one is kind of big, just the name.
Well, unless you want to go just a little further down, we can start by the Usos match, because they're on the island of relevancy with my tribal chief.
Yeah, because I think they went backwards with that list. They went backwards from
there we go.
Put the first match.
There we go. Yep, there we go.
I mean, it didn't matter, but. This match, I didn't really care for anybody in there except Shinsuke, and of course he got defeated again because Bruce got hurt, and then the Usos had to do their thing, and I was like, come on, Shinsuke can't get a break. But yeah, I didn't care for it.
Me either. I'm not a fan of what they done with Shinsuke. He's one of my favorites, and I feel like they've made him a joke ever since they botched the WrestleMania with AJ, and they did botch it for a lot of reasons. Because we've seen that match before, and we know they can go, and ever since then, they like to be like, well, he has a title, okay, and the 24/7 championship is a title too. What does that mean? That doesn't mean you can't make a title a joke. I mean, that we've done that all throughout here. I mean, no offense, we have a clown of a champion right now. So, I mean, with that being said, I didn't think too much of the match. I was just saying,
United States champion that he is. Okay, stop talking about Finn Balor like that. All right?
No. I'm talking about the queefiest of all champions.
So I think that this. For me, Boogs is one hell of a performer. I think he's very, very good. It's a pity that his knee or his ankle or whatever the hell had to blow out. It's such an awkward time. Yeah. I think he was rising very well. He's phenomenal, I think, to be honest. Shinsuke Nakamura, I think they just dropped the ball altogether with Sky. I mean, he's an international star, guys, and they just dropped the ball altogether. A face of the company, the guy doesn't even speak English, you know what I mean? You know, he's got the ability to carry a company. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
he'll be the reason I start watching AEW in a couple of months, so it's alright.
Right, and that's honestly what I hope for somebody like Shinsuke is because we know what the Usos have done. The only thing they're not saying they're worth or value, but the only thing that they're doing worth anything right now is their stuff with Roman. Their own title reign is being overshadowed by what they're doing with Roman, and Shinsuke should be in another title.
You know what I loved about the Usos though, right? Is being a tag team. I know they've been a tag team for quite a while and everything, obviously, but they've got this unique ability to carry anybody. No matter who they're tagging against, they're very good, and they got that unique. You know what I mean? And that's what I appreciate about the Usos. And then you can throw any tag team against them, and it'll work well with almost every single tag team. And you don't get that with a lot of tag teams today.
Agreed. Yeah.
Just don't care about them. I have no reason to care about them.
Right.
When you have a heel where you want to see him get beat up, or a face you want to see win, or either or.
I will care about the Usos whenever they break away from Roman. Yeah. Whenever they go through their breakaway phase.
Obviously, besides the whole tribal chief thing, I think them being in line with Roman at the moment is the best thing possibly. And the reason I say that is if you have a look at the tag team championships if you have a look at that in general, it sucks at the moment. Do you know what I mean? You don't really actually have a structured tag team division.
Nope.
Right? You got the Raw tag team titles, which is comprised of two perfectly good single superstars, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle.
Right.
They're not a tag team, but they've been put together. They work well as a tag team, but they're not a tag team. Usos is a tag team. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, if they had to be there, they would just be lost.
Yeah,
right? And look, I know I use this.
They have to.
I use this
with Roman to make them relevant, because the tag team.
I use this jokingly now with the island of relevancy, but it is the truth. You know, at the moment, if they weren't there, they would just be. Oh, it's the Usos. They're the tag team champs, and that's the unfortunate thing. And as we go along the list, you'll see the other titles. That's how it is with all the other titles. But that's unfortunately the way WWE is building it at the moment. And that's our frustration week in and week out with the product.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree. And you see, because like now they're trying to give them both titles. Like, I'm like, they don't. I guess if you need to do this to make like Roman seem this important, but it's just like, this is what I mean by like Stone Cold didn't need. Even though they did some things, like, he was already over at that point. You know what I mean? Like, the Vince stuff only helped him. It didn't make a case for Stone Cold being Stone Cold. He did other things other than the Vince stuff. So, and even whenever they tried to do heel Stone Cold with Vince, like, that was a big mistake. So, you know, it's just, I just think sometimes like what they're doing with certain people, it goes to show you they got 4 people in this match that nobody really cares about.
You see, the thing is, at the moment, you got Roman Reigns, right? He's the head. He's at the top and everything at the moment. But at the moment, they farmed him so much that they don't have anybody else anymore.
Right? And they say, get yourself over.
They've had Brock, right? But they couldn't overutilize Brock, because they overutilize Brock, then they lose Brock as someone down the line that they can just bring in and will get massive pop regardless of what you're doing with him, right? Now they got someone like Cody Rhodes coming in. You can kind of sort of feel that they're too scared to overuse him. And I think this was maybe mentioned somewhere, that if they overuse him, they're afraid they're going to lose it. But what WWE doesn't realize is, like much with a lot of the stars like Shinsuke, they were so worried about overusing that they underused and it was lost. Right? Like Cesaro, for example. Cesaro would have been phenomenal, but they didn't utilize it properly.
I think either way could work. Either way could work. You could, like, so Stone Cold, we didn't see him at all this whole build-up. And other than him saying he was going to be there, but he didn't even do that in a ring. He sent in a video. Right. So other than that, they didn't do anything with them, and people absolutely lost their damn minds. Like, lost their minds, you know. And then on top of it, you can use them every week, but how do you use them? Like, are you putting them in a match every week? I think that's dumb. Like that, you shouldn't do that with probably anybody. You are you gonna have them talk every week? That's probably dumb. Are you gonna have them do some cinematic vignette thing in the back every week? You know, like. So it depends, I feel like, on how you use them, and sometimes the frequency, whether it's high or low, like how frequent are you using them, you know? Like how, like, is it a lot? Is it a little? That does play a factor in what you're doing. If they're in the middle of a storyline and we don't see them for 3 weeks and you don't have an explanation why, that matters, you know? But if they start showing up in every segment, and we really don't know why now, like, they have no real conflict that goes throughout the whole show other than their segment, then everybody's like, well, why is he in every segment now? Like,
the thing is, you know, the problem, like, and I agree with you 100%, Fitz. Like, the thing is, for me, like, right, although some of us don't want to acknowledge this, but Roman Reigns is the champion of both brands at the moment.
What did you mean by that?
Right?
What did you mean by that? What did you mean by that?
Listen, all together, since WrestleMania, we've seen Roman Reigns a full 20 minutes for both shows.
Yeah.
One is a 2-hour show and another is a 3-hour show. You saw someone that you built up so high to be champion of both brands, but we're seeing him for 20 minutes over shows that span over 5 hours. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
His build up to winning the title is longer than the first time we see him with the titles. It's
JKL, I feel like
crazy.
you're chomping at the bit.
No, I'm good. Look, I don't care about this match, and we'll get to Roman Reigns when we get to him. So
We will. Agreed. This next one we got Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin.
I didn't even watch it. What I did,
I didn't either. I could care less.
Because since I don't watch wrestling, like I don't watch the week to week little vignette at the beginning showing Happy Corbin's like journey, I was like, oh, that was an interesting storyline. I like that. Like, because I don't know who this guy is, so I was interested in that. But I wasn't interested in the match at all.
No. And see, that's the point. That's the point. Like, they do all that stuff, but the whole meaning of them doing anything, whether it's talking or doing a vignette or whatever they're doing, is to have a match. And if people don't want to see the match, everything else you're doing is pointless. If they don't want to see that guy, what you're really doing is pointless. You know what I mean? So that's how I felt here. I don't want to see either one of them. I don't care.
Yeah, the thing for me was, like, I don't really like Drew McIntyre.
Me either.
So I was already disinterested in the match, but I watched the vignette leading up because I wanted to see, okay, let me catch up on the history.
Right.
And I like Happy Corbin. I like the like his whole storyline. I was like, oh, this is a guy I could see wanting to watch. But since he was going against Drew McIntyre, who I have no interest in watching, I pretty much didn't pay attention to the match. So
right.
I don't have much to say about it, except at the end where he cut the ropes with the sword. I was like, why would y'all do that in the middle of the show, beginning of the show? Now you got to reset and reset.
And the sword was rubber.
And later on, when I heard one of the matches got dropped and moved to night 2, I'm like, yeah, because they freaking cut the ring ropes. Why'd you have to do all that?
That and people always go over every year on Mania matches.
Oh,
every year.
So yeah.
Pop Heat.
Listen, man. I want the Scottish psychopath back. I don't want this fucking Braveheart bullshit with a sword coming to swing the sword that he can't really hit anybody or stab or kill someone with it. It's stupid. That's dumb. Right? And what's even more dumber than that is the fact that you got someone like Happy Corbin. What, like, why? Right? And I can understand from JKL's perspective, because he's seeing it from a pure perspective. He's seeing it from rags to riches. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how it was portrayed. If you knew how awesome Baron Corbin was before that, in his NXT and everything, it would be a different opinion, right?
Okay.
A few weeks back, we spoke about how Baron Corbin said on his Instagram, one of the Instagram lives, he said, if I could choose to having a WWE title,
yeah, I remember you saying that. Or have his finisher kicked out of, he'd rather just not have the title.
Yeah. And what do they have?
Yeah.
They have him get kicked out, his title kicked out of. It's like, can they not just give anybody anything? You know, it's just ridiculous. You know. But I didn't really watch this. This was a fast forward match for me. I really didn't give two shits about this match, guys. Honestly, it was so stupid.
Miz, Logan Paul, and Mysterios went down. I didn't agree with this. I still don't understand why, unless they're trying to make division between, which is kind of poetic and also fucked up in a way, I feel like, because they did the same thing with Eddie and Ray back in WrestleMania 21. They had a match against each other. It wasn't a tag match, but they had a match against each other, and Eddie lost, which started his like resentment towards like he can't ever beat Rey Mysterio, and they were tag team champions. Now, right now, Dominic and Ray are tag team, not really champions, but the seeds have been planted of Dominic kind of resenting, like, having to be under his father's wing or tutelage or whatever, you know. So
yeah, that's where I see it going because
yeah,
from what I understand of the storyline, like people are questioning whether Dominic is there because he deserves to be there or because his father's pulling strings for him to be there.
right.
So it's going to be one of those things where he has to prove that he deserves to be there, and it's going to be, well, I got to beat my dad to prove I have to be here. So
that, and he's gonna have to, once he goes on his own, he's gonna have to probably be a heel for a while because he's gonna have to do underhanded stuff to win and get a aura and confidence about him and all that other stuff because he's not a Brock Lesnar or anybody like that where he's super physically imposing, you know what I mean? So
or they could play off the Eddie Guerrero thing where he was saying he was his real father and have Dominic start really lie, cheating, and stealing.
And say, I wish Eddie was my dad. Yeah. I really wish Eddie was my dad. Yeah.
Something like that. I would really get him over, get him some heat. Yeah. That would be funny too.
Yeah, that would be wild.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the Miz, so you know, I like
we
the
know
Miz.
it's documented on this channel. It's documented.
And actually, Logan Paul, I got a newfound respect for him because he actually went out there and performed. Like, you know, a lot of times you have the celebrities come in and you know they're not really going to do real wrestling moves or they're going to attempt a couple of the easier ones, but you know, he did his thing. I was like, oh, okay, he's actually wrestling. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but you could see he trained. And I love that he came down with his damn Pokemon card around his neck. I was like, oh my god.
That's the most expensive card I heard. Is that one?
Yeah, I forgot how much it was worth.
Like 32 or maybe 18 million, but I think it was 32 million. I thought.
I was like, dude, you're killing me right now. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, it was funny, but at the same time, I was like, you freaking idiot. But then when I saw him wrestling, I was like, oh, okay, all right, I take it back. You're not an idiot. That was cool. All right, I got you.
Yeah, I'm just glad to see it. He cared and winning and losing that match mattered to him even after, like, he was just willing to sell it. Now whether it does now or in reality, I don't care, but if he's ever asked about it or if he's ever portrayed any sort of like just what he thinks about the match, he always puts it over like it always mattered to him. Like winning and losing mattered to him, and it mattered that in a professional environment of some sort, this was his first W of legitness and shit like that, you know. So, and he mentions the Miz turning on him and stuff like that, you know, like that was messed up. Like, bro, what the F was that for, you know? So, I appreciate he didn't come in and spit on the shit I love, even though we spit on it fucking weekly with what WWE and AEW do at times and shit. But that's another topic for another day.
In the ring, you know, we're passionate about it, but to actually get in the ring and then still do that, it's like, come on, dog, you actually got to go out there and perform.
Yeah,
don't be a jerk about it. So yeah,
right.
Like I said, I got some respect for him.
Right.
And I enjoyed the match. It wasn't the greatest match, but I enjoyed it. I was like,
yeah, okay. It was a good match though. Yeah, it wasn't the best, but it was still solid.
Yeah, it's entertaining enough for me. POPDHEAT.
Well,
we just talking all over. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, carry on. Listen.
Well, what I think,
this was surprisingly good. As you gents have said, Logan Paul surprised me. He's a lot better in the ring than I thought he would be. But then again, he seems to be.
And the shimmy.
The 3 suplexes. He did the 3 suplexes.
Okay, yeah. He's. I don't know. He's just. He did very well. Miz did a good job at being the Miz. Still one of the most. I feel the most underrated stars.
Yeah. Right now.
I just wish they would utilize him in a little bit of a different way, but that's a talk for another day, or just watch one of our previous live streams, I'm sure. Rey Mysterio and Dominique, I definitely feel some Latino heat building in Dominique. I'm loving it. I think it's cool. He's got Eddie Guerrero's old hairstyle. He's growing the mullet out. Really, really cool. I'm appreciating that. Obviously, being an old-time Eddie Guerrero. And yes, I wish Eddie Guerrero was my dad too. I think a lot of us did. He was a really cool guy. Honestly, jeez, man. If he told me he was my puppy, I'll be like, yeah, bro, thanks, man. But the one thing I want to see from Dominique, I do want to see some heel stuff, as you gents mentioned, and I want to see him change his dumb attire, man. The attire that he wears irritates the shit out of me.
I want to see a more brooding sort of thing from him. I do. The colorful thing, I think, is his dad's thing, and they forced that too much. Like, they forced him looking like his dad.
I want to see something different from him, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe touch up his dumb tattoos a little bit as well. He's earning big bucks now. He can actually get.
Well, he debuted in what era was that we was calling it, where the Thunderdome era. He debuted in the Thunderdome era where there wasn't people, so he wasn't getting the real. Like, I feel like he's a year behind his progress because there wasn't people, and that matters. Like, people say it doesn't, but it's not. It does. It's everything. That's the only thing that does matter. Like, making the money and making this seem and be as legit as possible is the only thing that matters. Everything else is dress up and cosplay and practice, you know. So him actually being in front of fans, like, he's a year behind, you know. So who's who knows?
I still feel he is, and whether we admit it or not, he's riding the coattails of his father, and that's as simple as it is. But I still feel that he's doing a phenomenal job. Yeah, he is doing a phenomenal job. A lot of people would have cracked under the pressure long ago, and I don't know. I thought this match did surprise me. I thought it was going to be more of a goofy match, that sort of thing, but it was
it was really good. It was a serious match. It was really good.
All right, guys.
Excited to see where Dominic goes from here, though. Yeah.
Raw Women's Title. Bianca Belair defeats Becky Lynch in a title change that, I mean, we all kind of figured was coming based off, if you followed the story of Bianca losing it, what was that? Survivor Series?
I think it was Survivor Series. Or
SummerSlam last year,
Yeah. So, and it was to Becky. So Becky's had it this whole time, and it was right for Bianca to win it, and we all knew it was coming, the setup. We knew the setup and the finish was coming. But I think what caught most people off guard is, and this is in topic to, I believe, the next match of having either the best match of WrestleMania or at least easily the best match of this night of WrestleMania. And that's Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. I'll let y'all take it away, man.
It was I love this match. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. I made no secret that I don't like the current Becky Lynch persona, but when I saw her come out, I loved her new look, the hair, the eyes. I was like, okay, I like what's going on here. Okay.
Right.
And I like Bianca Belair. I was like, all right, so let's see what's happening here. And they put on a good match. I mean, a couple of flubs, but you know, they did their thing. And I think I texted you guys in our little group chat on Instagram, like how the announcers were saying that it was okay for Becky Lynch to be pulling Bianca's hair, and I was like, since when is that legal? Like,
WWE for you, inconsistent calling.
Like, oh, it's the champion's advantage, and I was like, when is it champion's advantage?
Oh, it depends on who said it. Because they like to play heel commentators, so
I know, and that's what I was saying. I was like, I know some commentators like to play the heel commentator, but they was saying it like legit, like it was okay. It wasn't like the heel commentator said it, and one of the other ones was like, "Oh, come on, that's BS," or you're crazy. Like there was no reaction to it. It was just like, "Yeah, that's what it is." Like, no, it's not.
I don't know. Can you get DQ'd from it? I think it's just a heel thing to do. I don't know if that is DQ worthy because I've never seen anybody pull hair long enough.
What I was saying to Al was, I think it's kind of the same thing as a top rope move. You get a 5 count, or when you're holding someone on the ropes, it's a 5 count. So I don't think it's an actual disqualification.
Yeah.
You just got the time to let
It's
go.
a dirty move, like a thumb to the eye or something like that, or pulling somebody by the tights into the turnbuckle. You can't get DQ for pulling their tights into the turnbuckle, but the crowd definitely sees that as like, bro, like nobody else does that. Why do you have to be that guy? Like, sort of thing. So I think
it was just, that's the only thing that really annoyed
well, I
me.
think
was
they
like,
wanted to
they
make
just
it
play
clear
like
that it
it's
was still, even though it was messed up, it's still in the rules. And of course, the heel commentator was like, "Yeah, it's champion's advantage." Blah blah blah. Even though it's like, yeah, whatever. But
I was like, "Come on, man, stop with the BS." But then, she actually uses her hair to whip them sometimes. So I'm like, "Oh, I guess."
See,
for her, it's okay because of that long ass hair.
and it's not counted as a
like
DQ,
a weapon to the ring, so.
right? And it's not counted as DQ because it's a part of her. So,
right. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. That's the only thing that really annoyed me. I was like, come on, they really try to play us like we stupid now. But I thoroughly enjoyed the match. It was really good. I expected Bianca Belair to win, although a couple of those times when Becky Lynch had her pin, I was like, oh my god, that almost 3 count. I was like, holy, okay. Because I really didn't want Becky Lynch to win, and I found myself being way too invested in a match that I really have no idea what was going on as far as the story.
right.
I mean, I know Becky Lynch beat her for the belt, and I know she's trying to get it back, but like I said, I watched the weekly show, so I was like, I was really invested, super invested. But it was a good match. Probably one of the best of the night, like you said. Arguably one of the best of the night.
POPDHEAT, my boy.
Listen, guys, I'll be honest. I've never really been a big fan of Bianca Belair. That's because I've always felt, and I've mentioned this previously on previous lives, that I feel there's something not right with the actual gimmick. I feel something's off. I'm not up. I've admitted I'm not sure what it is, but I just feel there's something off about it. I'm not sure. But what I've found from this actual match, though, guys, is, to be honest, this second win is so much better than her first win at at WrestleMania last year. I think that her losing the title in 37 seconds, stepping back for a few minutes, and coming back into the title screen helped her phenomenally.
Right, because none of us could blame her for how she lost. So
I felt that her winning on at WrestleMania on this night was so much more meaningful. I felt like this was a good match, one of the top matches of the night, and it's as simple as that. It is, and both ladies pulled off show-stopping, performances, right?
Outside of the few flubs that they had where they kind of messed up and you kind of noticed that it wasn't supposed to go like that. It was a great match. So
yeah, I just do, as I say, like, I love this. I don't know where Becky Lynch is going from here. Bianca Belair, I don't know who she's going to fight, but I think it's good. I think it's cool. I think this is a lot more warranted than her last win, and I'm glad she's got it. But still a little bit off about her gimmick. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
I can agree with you with her gimmick, like her. I wouldn't even say her gimmick, just her personality or her character. It's like she comes out and she's swinging her hand, she's bouncing around. It's kind of like, okay.
I think that's the problem with Bianca's stuff is no edge, really. Not really any edge. She's always smiley and giddy, and I'm not she's always prone to having really good matches. So to see them both, that's where I disagree with everybody. I knew they would have a great match because Becky has great matches and so does Bianca. But to see them mess up, it's refreshing because everything seems so rehearsed and everything needs to seem like it comes off perfect. In fights, as we can tell in the UFC and everything else, fights go from anything as planned whenever you introduce a real element of stuff. So it was good to see this in the next match we'll talk about. That it's crazy that they both had these moments of like they kind of messed up and we noticed, but they still were viewed as probably the best matches of all of WrestleMania. You know what I mean? And that's big whenever you got two nights, you know. So, you know, I don't know. That's my only take out of all of it, to be honest.
Perhaps maybe what's wrong with Bel-Air's gimmick is maybe just some of it just seems forced. Some of it seems that it's not her and she has to put it on.
Because we all know nobody is that giddy and happy all the time and bouncy. Like, you gotta have some edge, some real.
It's not even to say like I couldn't buy her being that happy and giddy all the time. It's just like he said, it seems forced. It doesn't seem like that's natural to her. Because
right.
People are naturally happy and bouncy, and you just see it on.
But I'm saying, brother. What I mean is after she just got screwed, she's still smiling. Yeah. That is not real for in a big way. In a big way.
I think
have some edge to it, especially with her.
That's what I'm saying. She's missing edge.
She adds EST. Listen, you know how she adds EST to everything.
Right.
You know, the fastest, the strongest. I think what's missing from her EST is the bitchiest. I think she needs to be more of a bitch. No, honestly.
No, that's what gets Charlotte over.
Her heel turn.
Honestly, that's what I think it is. Maybe I don't know.
All right.
Maybe she just needs to be more of an asshole.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on. Cody and Seth. This is the mystery opponent. We kind of everybody that's I guess a big wrestling fan or into wrestling was assuming this would be. Up until this match, he was one of the people I thought of. I thought it might have been the Gable Steveson guy, or it might have been even Bray Wyatt, because nobody has seen or heard from Bray Wyatt since his supposed departure.
I think the thing is, I think a lot of people were sitting, even though they knew kind of without a shadow of a doubt it's going to be Cody Rhodes, they're still sitting on the edge thinking, but what if it's not?
Yeah,
right.
What if it's not? Exactly. That was the thing.
You know, I was sitting there.
I don't even pay attention that much.
And the moment the voice, the lights went off, it's like, now they're fucking with us some more. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the truth. They're messing with us. When the lights went off, they're messing with us. And then when the voice started speaking, I'm like, oh my God, he's here. And the relief that I felt, I was like, yes. And I think that kind of played well. I don't know if that was the intention. Mm-hmm. But when that boy rose up like that, I tell you, I just felt such a feeling, man. It was fantastic.
Oh, bro.
Right?
Bro.
It was undeniable. It was possibly one of the best parts of WrestleMania. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then when I heard his AEW music, I thought, nah.
Bro.
What?
So,
you know, I was sitting there.
AEW, so that was good to know.
I was so gobsmacked.
Bro.
Right? You know?
Bro.
I was to the point of being so gobsmacked that I couldn't even realize what was happening.
Bro.
Right? A few WrestleManias back, the only thing that made me feel like that was when John Cena's Dr. Thugonomics music hit, and I almost lost my shit.
I remember that.
Right? Okay. Now, I'm not saying that is as big as this, but I'm just saying
it's
that was
bigger.
The last time I felt. You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah.
You know?
So,
and when this guy walked down to the ring, you could see that this guy was taking every single bit of sound coming from that crowd. He was taking it into the pause, right? You know, when you're watching and you hear that crowd and you're getting that goosebumps, right? This guy was taking that sounds into his goosebumps, that he was getting that feeling. He was absorbing it. You could see it, man, in his face. And the fact, and I got to take my hat off for the guy, the fact that he managed to keep his composure was phenomenal. It was amazing.
So, Cody's music, is that like original AEW music, or is that
Okay,
like a
so
song?
basically what it is if you watch this, if you watch the music, if you just YouTube it, right? It's a big thing at the moment. Everything with the lyrics and everything. It's a dig at WWE.
Okay.
100%.
But no, he's asking,
Right.
is this
And
music he used in AEW? And yeah, this is his original
He's
music
used-
from AEW.
Yeah,
and
he's
right after pretty
Right,
much he
gotcha.
left WWE
But
the
I'm
first
saying,
time.
is it a song that was created for him in AEW,
Yeah.
or is it just an old
yes,
song? Or
and it's
artist?
No,
basically
it
targeting.
is.
It's
Okay.
targeting
It
WWE.
Okay, gotcha.
If you look at the words and everything, but now he's admitted himself that's what it was designed for. But now he's using it to inspire him in WWE because it
Okay.
can be used in a way of positivity in WWE too.
Okay. So that's pretty cool that WWE would let him use his music from a different company.
Yeah,
So, okay.
listen,
Especially
if
if the
they
company owned the
if
rights
they
to
bought
it,
the
like,
boy a
yeah.
bus so his family can travel with him, he's gotten everything.
Yeah, I did hear stuff like that. Yeah, but it was good. Like I didn't know who it was until he came in because I didn't know the music. I didn't know the symbol. I was like, "Who is it? Who is it?" So when I saw him coming out, I was like, "Oh my God, Cody's back!" I said, "Holy crap!" I haven't like legit haven't even before Stardust. Is how long it's been since I've watched Cody Rhodes wrestle because I don't watch AEW, so I haven't seen him wrestling forever. So it was definitely good to see him back, and I like the fact that Seth Rollins was like, "Welcome back, bitch! Welcome back to the big leagues."
Yeah. Listen,
I was like, "Oh man."
I don't think there would be anyone else in WWE besides Seth Rollins to do this match with Cody Rhodes.
Bro, I was thinking the same thing, man. I asked
Honestly,
that to a
after
few other
watching the
people.
match, I don't think there would be
I couldn't
anybody
think
else
of a
that would
single
go
person. Age, it's either they shouldn't be having this match with him, this particular match right here, his first match back. I don't see AJ. I don't see Roman. I don't see Kevin. I don't see, and I don't even like Seth like that. And it literally dawned on me while I was watching it, and after, I don't think he should have had this match with anybody else other than Seth for a lot of reasons, like the match quality, like what Seth was going through at the time of like just being nothing, because that's what Seth, he was just floundering, doing nothing. And then on top of it, the whole Dusty background with Dusty kids and him being the first NXT champion and Cody being Dusty's son, like it was all organic, you know what I mean? It was all real. And in a way, Cody said, like Seth, like the spot Seth has should have been him. Granted, he left and also became Stardust. So, you know, like those things didn't happen. And he's always like envied Seth, you know what I mean? Like very much envied Seth. So I agree, bro. I didn't mean cut y'all off, but I definitely agree big time
See,
with
the
that.
thing is,
Big time.
we watched throughout the match. You know what was happening throughout the match? Old school storytelling.
Bro.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
That's it. It's as simple as that. And
there were a lot more lockups and holds and yeah, like I said, old school storytelling. It was a match that I was familiar with and was like, this is the type of wrestling I like.
the moment that he did the Stardust cartwheel,
Yeah.
right? I thought, nah, he's done it. That's finished. And I sure as I'll hope that's the last time we see it. And I've got a funny feeling we do. Because one of the commentators said he's shedding old
Corey Graves.
skin.
Well, what happened is, and this is why I don't like WWE, right? I don't mean to cut you off, JK. I just want to give context to what POPDHEAT is talking about. We all just mentioned Stardust. WWE never wants to have consistent storytelling and commentating in all their matches. So that's why you, JKL, said, as somebody that doesn't watch that much, this is the wrestling I'm familiar with. Well, yeah, no shit, bud. That's the wrestling we're all familiar with. They just don't want to fucking give it to us. Why? We'll never know. That's another topic for another day. But to the comment of Corey Graves' what he said is because Byron Saxton said, oh, when he did this, Cody's showing off. You moron. You don't even know the product of what you're speaking about. And Corey had to tell him, no, that's not him showing off. That is him shedding the past. That is old stuff in a new beginning, because that's all they ever see the Rhodes family as is polka dots and dust. You know, that's all they see them as, whether it's Cody, Goldust, or Mr. King Rhodes himself, fucking, you know who I'm talking about, Dusty Rhodes. But it's just like, bro, I can't do it, man. It's just crazy. It's just the inconsistency of they telling.
What I heard, Cody told them that he doesn't want to do any Stardust stuff. So I don't know if it's in his contract, but like he was like, no.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is because
he said no. He said it was a handshake deal. He said it was a handshake deal, and he regrets. But the thing is, he said he went and asked them not to bring up anything Stardust, but then he did this. So then he was like, but here I am breaking my own word. So hopefully, like you said, Pop the Heat, he doesn't bring it up again, because if he does, then I wish he wouldn't have said that, because I want people to bring it up.
Right.
It adds a layer. It adds a layer that's needed. Don't throw that past away. Don't throw that away.
You know what I would love to? I would love to see Seth Rollins down the line mention, all you're going to become is another Stardust.
Yeah, or even dress up like Stardust and come out.
You know what I mean?
I don't think that now. Are you talking about Seth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Cody should touch anything Stardust.
No, Cody. If anything, have it be like the thing that sets him off.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't think he should hide from that. I don't think that they should do it immediately, maybe, but being that he did like that, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, don't hide from that, you know, because I wouldn't want you hiding from your legacy days with Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase Jr. You know, the days you saw JKL. So in his hardcore holidays, for why he did that Tree of Woe fucking kick whenever Seth was hanging on the ropes. That's a hardcore Holly move. You know, so it's just like come on.
Yeah,
that's the progression of your character.
It matters. It matters.
Progression. So yeah.
Yeah.
I know you don't want them to put you back into that gimmick.
Right.
That's not what you came back to WWE for. I get that, but don't just disregard it or say, well, I don't want anybody to mention it or bring it up. Like, no, let them mention it. Let them bring it up. Let that be a driving force to say, that was my past. This is me now. And I'm going to kick your ass.
Right. Exactly.
How good I am. You know, whatever. So.
Agreed.
But it was a great match. I liked it.
Yeah, this is my favorite match of all WrestleMania. Not just because of...
Listen, I was just about to say, besides the whole stigma of him actually returning, match-wise, number one.
Wow.
We got, number one, right? This is, to be honest, someone put it on Raw, I think when they were watching highlights of it. This instantly got match of the year written all over it, right? Wow. And we 3 months in, guys. We 3 months in.
I agree, man. It's just a lot of matches now, they are all the same, or they're all trying to do the most. And I just listen, JKL, whenever I hear people like you talk about wrestling, that's whenever I know when certain things matter and whenever they don't. And whenever I hear you say everything you said about this match, how could anybody that watches wrestling deny themselves that this was a great match? You know what I mean? Because you hear it now, and I want because I may record this and I may put this up. A lot of people say there isn't a difference between WWE and AEW fans. Yeah, there is. What you guys are talking about is all AEW fans. Okay, listen, all AEW fans are wrestling fans, but not all WWE fans are wrestling fans. And I want y'all to understand that. There is a different crowd. Whenever you got Chris Jericho talking about, this is the demographic we go after, and this is the demographic WWE go after. We want professional wrestling, WWE wants entertainment. So to sit here and say that there's not separate audiences, there is, guys. There is. Now, is it easy to see those differences? No, of course not. But as a wrestling fan, talking to another wrestling fan, we do know it's just like politics in real life. We see people that talk about the left or the right, and then there's people in between that can see the BS between both sides. Cool. You made it to the point where we're on the middle. Not everybody is like that, because I'm telling you, there are so many haters. In 6 months, Cody's going to be... What about in 6 months if he's champion? Then what you going to say? Oh, well, in another 6 months, he'll finally be Stardust again. What if he's not? What if he's facing AJ at Mania? Well, in another 6 months, he'll have the 24... What if in another 6 months, he is the United States champion or IC champion like he was his favorite title for a year straight? What if? Oh, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they just run their damn mouths on either side because we want to bitch and be like, oh, this side is better. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. But there's a point in time where it becomes toxic, because now you're talking about somebody's livelihood. You want to bet. And this is why I don't like people. This is why Rhonda was right. This is why fans are fucking fickle, because it's 1 week you want this, next time you want that.
But the thing is,
Go ahead.
Right, no, the Rhonda thing is different. I'm just saying to speak on her point, you know.
We'll get to her next.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's next after this.
I think we don't need to. I think we can just go to the next match after that. But
right. Right.
No, listen. 2 points to what you're saying, Fitz, my brother. The thing is, what I'm loving about the Cody Rhodes thing is the way you just brought that across now. There are too many what ifs, and it gets me excited.
Man.
It gets me excited.
I'm not excited, though. Monday he starts his journey facing The Miz.
No.
That is a fact. That is happening Monday.
Second point before we move on to the worst match of WrestleMania. A point to what you are saying in regards to the crowds of AEW and the crowds of WWE. People, in regards to the crowds of WWE, they are a fan of the product WWE. Mm-hmm. AEW fans are fans of wrestling.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm sure you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Is it's become a product, and that's not what we want. And when we see a match like Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, we see it as an AEW fan.
But see, this is my problem though. Let's put a caveat on that. AEW fans are not fans of wrestling. They are fans of indie wrestling. People going through 28 tables, 28 Hurricane Ranas, 58 pinball moves. I'm just saying, brother. I'm keeping it real.
I agree with you.
I'm just saying.
What you're saying, but I'm using in comparison to WWE.
Right, but even then,
AEW in comparison to AAA or now Ring of Honor or past Ring of Honor, they are spot jockeys, like you say. All they're doing is looking for 50 spots in one match.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
But my problem is they know how to recognize a good match. They know how to recognize the good matches like the Cody Seth match. They'll just let their grudges get away in the way of Cody leaving and going back to a place that they don't like and they see as prison. That's why they thought and assumed Kevin Owens wasn't going to be going back. And then when he re-signed, everybody shut up and didn't know what to say. Yeah, motherfucker, he's going to get paid. He's going to be put in a position where he's going to face Stone Cold at WrestleMania in the main event of night one. Is anybody else in all of AEW doing anything important as Cody and Seth or KO and Stone Cold? Just let me know. Am I wrong? Any of them, including CM Punk, including Daniel Bryan.
To put a kind of a point on it, it's like in the movies, you'll see, you have like these Marvel movies where they're the big budget, action-packed blockbuster, and you see a lot of these distinguished actors looking to get into these Marvel movies, not because they're better or good or great movies, but because you get the moolah. But you get, it's almost like saying an indie movie where the acting is great and the emotion, and you get wrapped up in the movie and like, oh my God, Oscar nominated movie, versus the big blockbuster action packed movie. Like that's WWE versus like indie promotions, you know? You go to the indies because it's all about craft and skill. You go to WWE because it's about getting paid.
But hold on, I'll take it even one step further. It's kind of like college sports versus pro sports. People quote unquote like the purity of college sports, even though everybody's getting paid except for the college athletes, which doesn't make sense. Right. So then you take, they say they want the purity of college sports, and they don't like the entertainment of WWE or pro sports. But that's what those guys are modeling. Like, the stuff from back then is so primitive. They haven't changed their sets in defense or offense in football or basketball in years. You don't want that. I don't want to see 28 Hurricane Ranas in one match, but I also don't want to see the finish be a regular suplex like we're in 1928. Right. Like that was a finish back in the day. A regular suplex. No Goldberg in either. Like a regular dump. You know, like that. You know, so wrestling has to evolve.
Yeah, it's evolved.
Yeah.
There's something I wanted to ask you guys. What happened to the atomic drop? Do anybody do the atomic drop anymore?
Rarely. These kids don't know what real holds are, man. They don't know what holds or moves are.
Atomic drop would be my move, not my finisher, but that'd be one of my setups. Atomic drop. Boom.
Right on. Yeah, bro. Or the backdrop suplex. People don't know what that is. Yeah, the flapjack or the pancake, man.
Nobody do anymore and use them as setups or just like
a drop toe hold, man. They don't know. They don't know what any of these moves are, man. You know, a hammer lock. A hammer lock. You're gonna use a hammer lock every once in every decade now. So I don't know, man.
I was just random thought. Anyway, all right. This was a great match. What's next? Ronda and Charlotte.
Pop the Heat's favorite match of the night. This is Pop the Heat's favorite match of all of WrestleMania, the SmackDown Women's title.
I would say I like Charlotte. I like the attitude. You know, she's Flair's daughter, so you know you got to play up. Right. And Ronda Rousey, like I don't have a problem with her. It's just she can't wrestle
or talk.
So when she gets in there, it's like it's just not entertaining for me. Like there's been people who can't wrestle who got in the ring and at least performed well for me to enjoy. I just don't enjoy seeing her in the ring. She has no mic skills. She's not good in a wrestling ring. Let me make that clear. If she's still UFC fighting, okay, yeah, I want to see that. But yeah, I really had no interest in watching her in this, and it was just such a bad match.
Agreed.
That's all I have to say about it.
I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think Charlotte was the problem in this match at all. And I'm not going to act like it was. And I'm going to leave it at that. And then we're going to go into the next match after Pop the Heat.
And I missed it.
Yeah.
Listen, all I've got to say is, one, Charlotte hasn't changed in the last 10 years that she's been with the company. She's been the same old stale Charlotte Flair. Something needs to change a little bit. Right? Honestly, just needs to change a little bit, please. Ronda Rousey winning the Royal Rumble was the biggest waste of time ever because she just lost to the champion anyway. Mm-hmm. They could have given that to Shotzi, Blackheart, Darkheart, Greenheart, whatever the fucking heart she is. They could have given it to Natalia Hart for all we fucking care, right? The result would have been the same. It's pointless having Ronda Rousey there, right? Yeah. Ronda Rousey is the female version of Brock Lesnar, right?
But Brock was more entertaining.
What?
No, but listen. No, listen. Background-wise. She's UFC. She's conquered UFC. Listen, calm down. Fitz, don't. Listen. Just breathe, bro.
I get what you're
breathe.
saying. Like,
It's okay, man.
I don't get at all what you're saying. I don't get a drop. This that tribal chief shit. This that tribal chief shit gone to your head.
In no way is Ronda Rousey dominant in any way.
Right. It's all about
In no way. In no way.
And using her name to bring people to the match. But
that's all.
It's not entertaining.
Right?
Like you said, Fat. If this was AEW, Ronda Rousey, yeah, she's a big name, but we don't care that she's a big name. She can't perform. We don't want to see that. WWE, it's about the product. So
I'm not vouching for Ronda. Fuck Ronda. I'm talking about his Brock comparison. What is that about, Pop Heat?
No, that's the background where she's from. Can you just calm down? Just breathe.
I'll calm.
I know you're about to faint. I know you're getting a sweat underneath your Spider-Man cap. Your glasses is starting to feel loose on your face. It's going to fall off in a second.
What might help Ronda is if they give her a Paul Heyman-like person to hype her up or to be her mouthpiece and just let her go.
Look, honestly,
that would probably help.
Honestly, I feel that Ronda Rousey shouldn't have been in the picture here in regards to a title.
She shouldn't have been.
Right?
Not at all.
Honestly, I think there's a lot of young ladies that deserve it more than her, and she was just forced into the picture, and it's wrong.
Because of her name. Just to bring hype to it, and it didn't need to be. Nope.
I do want to say Brock Lesnar spent about 4 years in wrestling from 2002 until...
Listen, what I'm saying is...
some other time. 04, so like 2 years, 3 years.
Bro, listen, okay, let's just go to the possibly the second best match of the night.
Listen,
which I personally didn't know was going to be a match. I thought it was just going to be a confrontation. It turned out into be a confrontation plus the match.
Yeah.
Which was phenomenal. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like you said. KO was going to have him come out, insult him enough to Stone Cold finally stun them and then go out with him drinking beer to end the show on a high note. But the fact that it actually became a match, I was like, okay. And a no holds barred match, I was like, okay. And listen, to his credit, I've always liked Kevin Owens. His credit, he played Steve Austin's punching bag. He did his job. He sold it well. Stone Cold actually took a suplex on the concrete, I think. I was like, oh, all right. That was interesting. But all in all, it was a decent match. It wasn't the greatest. You could see Stone Cold is old now, so it wasn't like him in his prime, but it was entertaining enough. I was like, all right. And it's Stone Cold. You just, come on.
Right, you go with it when it's Stone Cold. No questions asked.
If you fast forward to what happened at the end of the whole Pat McAfee scandal when Stone Cold came out at the end of that, where Stone Cold came in and he stunned the whole world. That's what I expected this to be.
Yeah.
Stone Cold was going to stun Kevin Owens. He's going to stun half the commentator crew. He's going to pick someone from the crowd, have a beer. I'm going to stun you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought it was going to be. You know? But having Stone Cold that hasn't been in a ring for 19 years was a smart way to make it no holds bar, where he just literally just threw Kevin Owens around, right? You know, he's a man of age. He hasn't been in the ring for ages. He done a very good job.
Yeah.
Right? And to your point where you said, you could see he was old. I agree. You could see he was old. But they did it in such a good way that with the no holds barred, it looked like an ass kicking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's all they needed to do.
What it needed to be. Yeah.
You know?
If it was a regular wrestling match, and him beating
I personally think they went a little bit too overboard in regards to humiliating Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit too much, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, you still want Kevin Owens to be one of your top guys. Do you know what I mean?
And he went from this to Elias or Ezekiel.
Well,
I think we need another 3 episodes to discuss that, Fitz. Just saying.
But
A month's
counter
worth.
what you said though, I don't think it makes Kevin Owens look weak in any way because it's Stone Cold. So the crowd isn't going to look at
fair
it.
enough.
And go, oh, you got
Now I feel what Pop the Heat is saying though. I get what he's saying. It's the same thing we would bitch about with anybody else. With like, The Rock would come in and beat like CM Punk, and then he would leave after a month, and now CM Punk is floundering again. It's just like, we don't want to see Kevin Owens.
Maybe a tad bit too much.
Yeah, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's just he's just saying just a little bit. Like Kevin Owens maybe shouldn't have done certain things or sold some stuff the way he sold it at the end of the day. Him winning or getting the dog shit beat out of him is well deserved for everything he did, like, and who he was facing. But over the top, just a smidge.
You know what?
A smidge.
Having Kevin Owens escorted out by the cops made no sense.
Yeah, that part I didn't understand.
That meant that if they left that out, that was beautiful.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If they had just Kevin Owens walk into the back, smelling like beer, it would have been cool.
Yeah. All right. Night two.
Night two, you guys. Night two. I'm gonna have even less to talk about because I wasn't a fan.
Listen.
Yeah, a lot of these matches. I mean, the first match, I did like. Randy Orton and Riddle. I was kind of like, okay, this Riddle dude. I mean, I haven't seen much of him, but what I've seen of him, I'm like, okay, he's actually pretty decent. And I like Randy Orton. Come on, Randy Orton's old school for me. So
I'm not a huge fan of the Riddle character.
To be honest, after the first night, I was very worried what's going to happen on the second night.
Same. Same.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I was worried. I was like, how is it like, like looking at the card that's going to come ahead? I was like, what the hell? Like I couldn't.
None of these were good matches to me, man.
I like the Alpha Academy though. I was like, okay.
Listen, man. Listen. If you knew if you knew.
I wince a little.
That commercial. You see that Snickers commercial they got? I love that commercial.
Listen, if you knew what Chad Gable was about and how talented that guy is,
yes,
you know what I mean?
And Otis. Otis is extremely talented.
But listen, Otis is getting better off from this than what Chad Gable is.
Facts. But in the grand scheme, that whole Alpha Academy isn't doing either one of them anything. It isn't doing anything.
All Alpha Academy is a washed out, watered down version of Charlie Haas and
or what they were already doing with Jason Jordan and him. You remember what they were already doing with Jason Jordan and him? It's already that. Yeah, it's that, but watered down.
Listen, to be honest, I'm glad Randy Orton and Riddle retained. The only reason is I don't think that Alpha Academy should have the titles anymore, right? And I don't want to take it away from the good lads. They're good lads and everything, but I don't think so. Street Profits, I think that, and I've said it many times before, Montez Ford would be a stupendously phenomenal singles star. He's got the athleticism, he's got the charisma, he's got the mic skills, right?
He need to get bigger.
He need to get a little bit bigger. I agree with you that.
Just put on weight. Put on some weight.
Brilliant. And I'm not putting his protecting partner down. I'm not. Right? But this is a concept I brought before. You can be a tag team and still have a singles run.
Mm-hmm.
That's a possibility. Yeah, you can do it.
Should be able to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, he could. I mean, Dawkins could be his manager.
I had fun watching it. It was alright.
Yeah, it's alright. It was alright.
I didn't like this match.
I didn't like the next two matches, man.
Why Bobby Lashley not in the main event, or at least in the picture?
Okay, yeah, we gonna. Do you guys have anything to say about the next two matches? Because I truly don't want to spend too much time.
what I will say, I was thoroughly enjoyed by the Anything Goes match with Johnny Knoxville. I enjoyed it. I was thoroughly entertained, I should say. It was a stupid match. It was a silly match. It wasn't meant to be serious. I liked how Sami Zayn went with it and sold it. Yeah, I don't know if it's good for his character because, like I said, watch, you guys know better than me, but I enjoyed it. It was funny.
Being that you said it was meant to be silly, stupid, it's meant to not be on the card because it's WrestleMania, where you should have serious matches that mean something.
He's a big name, and that's what.
Then go have it at the midget wrestling convention or something.
It should have been on day one, Saturday, or it should have been on a pre-show.
It should not have been on night one. How dare you ruin night one?
Listen. Look, the 4 men on the screen there, right?
JKL, don't get on my bad list with your.
Listen,
don't do it.
You just made the list.
Oh.
The 4 men on the screen, right? Johnny Knoxville shouldn't be there, right?
Exactly.
Omos is a Vince McMahon wet dream. Bobby Lashley used to be the man wet dream, is underutilized, right?
Yes.
I'm sure we all agree. Sami Zayn, highly underutilized. That guy is a phenomenal performer, and he's used as a joke
all the time.
I don't appreciate it.
He's still one of my favorites. I just like, and that's my problem. Like I had or have so many favorites in WWE currently with everybody that they still let go, but I'm not into Doink the Clown. Who was the one guy? Santino Marella. The Ezekiel. Now that we have him, like I'm not into those sort of things. I'm not. The Miz pushes that balance between being that guy and then trying to be, and that's why I don't like the Miz. Like once these guys do this stuff, I don't care for you anymore because I would have told them, lick me long style. I'm not doing that. And you can spend all night licking me because I plan to not do it.
I'll tell you something that will make you think about it, and this is referring to your point. Do you know that The Miz is a 2-time Grand Slam champion?
Yeah. 2-time.
And get dog walked anytime he steps in a ring with a real main eventer.
He's awesome. No, he doesn't.
No, but you understand what I'm saying, though. Like
main eventers. He beat John Cena.
No, but you know what my point is?
Are you kidding me?
Champion, right? When last has he been in a serious feud?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they need to push him back into main event status.
These motherfuckers be more healed than me. He said the Miz beat John Cena.
He did. All right, let's go to the next match. Come on.
I'm sorry, you just got me stressed out with that comment, JKL. I get stressed out.
John Cena.
He did.
Okay, so the next match.
He did.
He
did.
And that was big time, John.
And it was bull. He beat him on some bull crap. And you know it.
A win is a win. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh.
The ref ain't see it.
You and Pop the Heat are one and the same, boy. What is this?
You know what troubles me about this tag team titles? This woman tag team title. You know what bothers me about this match? There's no tag teams.
Nope.
Look at the screen.
It's
every
names.
One of them every single one of them are put together.
Just names. No same ring music, ring attire, ring moves, ring finisher.
Every single one of them. Every single one of them.
Don't got nothing to say about it. That's all y'all. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say because I know you guys ain't gonna say you don't care. But for me, the person that doesn't watch, to get to see all of them in the ring and have entrances and perform, I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, I get to see all these ladies, and like I was saying to Pop Heat, I think it was Wednesday. I said, out of all of them, Shayna Baszler is the only one I was like, I don't care anything about this chick. But all the rest of them, I was like, okay, I like her gimmick, I like her style, I like this, I like that. She was the only one where I was like, okay, all she is a chick that likes to beat up people, and all of them had that quality of wanting to beat up people. So
listen,
it's kind of plain Jane.
You know what?
it made me go, okay, I want to see more of these ladies. So
You know what the problem is here, though, and this might be very, very strange, though, is the fact that Shayna Baszler and Natalya could actually be a legit tag team.
yeah, they seem like they
Someone from the Hart family, Queen of Hearts, you're Shayna Baszler, right? The Queen of Aces, right?
And I love Natalya, so
Throw them in a like
yeah, they could be a team.
work on that.
But
You know what I mean?
It wasn't really a WrestleMania match. Like it
No.
I could see where
Not a WrestleMania match. Not a WrestleMania match. Not a WrestleMania match. Not a WrestleMania match. That's so we're on a roll. We're on a roll.
Four matches.
We're on a roll.
Four matches.
And WrestleMania could have been one day. So yeah, I
Next,
will admit that.
Edge,
I did like-
AJ Styles. Yeah,
I
Listen,
like. Oh, this was a good match.
it would have been. It would have been.
this match I feel wasn't as good as it could have been.
Exactly.
It probably wasn't. It probably wasn't as good as it could have been, but I still
Do you know
loved
what
it.
happened,
I
right?
like Edge.
You know,
AJ Styles is phenomenal.
do you know what happened right in the beginning of this rivalry? Both men have been waiting for years for this match,
Yep.
right? And I have no problem with it, but this is all this is used for at the moment is to boot up Edge's new group, which I have no problem with. I just don't like that it's at the expense of one of their top talents, AJ Styles.
But AJ,
You know what I'm saying?
From what I've seen, when you guys do your reaction videos, you see him taking everybody's freaking finishing move. He seems like too much of a team player, going along with whatever the WWE says. He's like, okay, all right, I'll do it. And it's like he's getting lost in the mix. He should be a main eventer or in a title hunt, like, and even a rivalry with Edge. It should do more for him.
This is by far.
Seems like-
This is by far and away the person that I want the most to go to AEW.
AJ Styles. Yeah.
Listen, can I say something? And Fitz, I know you're going to agree with me here, right? Even though it's regarding my tribal chief, acknowledge him, right? If there's anyone on the roster and if they build it correctly, I would not mind AJ Styles taking the belt off of Roman Reigns. Right?
Yeah, we could all agree with that. So, yeah.
If Cody Rhodes wasn't in the picture, right? And we all, and I'm admitting it now, so Feds can have a wet dream or whatever. Cody Rhodes is taking the title off of Roman Reigns. Yes. And I do believe possibly in 6 months or so, let Cody Rhodes build in the WWE with his new, well, not new, but with this Cody Rhodes persona that he wants to be. I just feel that AJ Styles would have been the man and would have been the perfect choice to take the titles off of Roman Reigns.
Well,
But
we're not going to get that.
second-hand
So
storyline builder taking everybody's finisher because he's a nice guy, as Mr. Holmes said.
That's what I think.
or because he's the best wrestler that they have. I don't care what people want to say.
Yes,
I don't
because-
care what people want to believe about Seth Rollins or Kenny Omega. AJ Styles is still by far and away the best wrestler we have seen since Shawn Michaels, and it's not even close.
The thing is-
And the only one is close is Randy Keith Orton. So let's just
Listen,
keep
you know
real.
what? You know what it is? You know
Let's
what, you know
keep
what those
real.
guys have in common, right? And I mentioned it earlier with the Usos. Shawn Michaels, even though everybody thought he was an asshole back in his prime, he could work with
Anybody. He could do any style you want to
Randy
do.
Orton,
Any
Randy
style.
Orton can work with anybody.
Anybody.
AJ Styles,
And good.
anybody.
And a main event, listen, and it's not just work with him like Lance Storm. Because I was having this problem with my buddy that we were just talking to on the phone, Virus, who likes to acknowledge the tribal queef. He wanted to compare somebody we were talking, Chris Benoit to the likes of, no offense, I love William Regal, and even William Regal's higher than the guys he was saying, like a Lance Storm and somebody else. But I was just like, bro, listen to me. Like, Chris Benoit was so big. He was Daniel Bryan before Daniel Bryan. Put y'all, anybody that's hating and he did this and listen, I didn't ask you what he did in his off time at the house. Listen, I'm talking about a specific time in history. Chris Benoit did some big things, and that's how I think that's how I view AJ.
But listen, there's two people on this earth and I think you gentlemen will agree with me on this, that were more technical, right? Possibly three, more technical than Chris Benoit. One was Bret Hart.
Bret Hart. Oh, okay. I'm about to say, you gotta say Bret Hart.
Right.
That's my boy.
The other one is Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko was great. He was great.
Right.
One more.
And then the other one, okay. The other one, Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I love EG. That's my boy.
I put all three of them up there. I put Bret.
This is what I'm saying. This is
but
right.
We view each one of them in different levels.
This is what we compare AJ Styles to, and if you realize it, that's just. I don't know.
But AJ is on the level of Eddie Guerrero, whereas they want him to be on the level of Dean Malenko for their sake, for their storylines and people, but he's not. He's on the level and higher of Eddie Guerrero. And I'm sorry, but that's what happens when people build their name outside of WWE so long, that when he leaves, he's going to be just as big as CM Punk whenever he debuted in AEW. And I know we want Bray Wyatt and all these other people, but there's not one person in all of WrestleMania that I felt the worst for other than AJ Styles, because they've been doing him dirty since the Thunderdome era started. Since that shit with the briefcase where he was supposed to win the briefcase and it slipped into Otis's hands, ever since then he's been a part of circle jerking and putting other people over and trying to help enrich the younger talent. Like, bro's not done yet. Like, he is not done. Like, why are y'all trying to wind down his career?
He's age, though. He's like 47, I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, he still works. He can still work, man.
How Vince is. Vince isn't going to put a lot of effort into an older guy unless he's like an Edge type person who was in the company before.
Right.
Built up his name.
And that's why I said it sucks that AJ still built his name besides that, and Vince doesn't like that. Which is why any wrestling fan, but me and Pop the Heat, blew our gasket when Cody got introduced as the American Nightmare with that same persona, like he just left AEW TV this past Wednesday. The whole theme, all of it, bro, all of it, and they didn't change a freaking thing. And if they brought up Stardust, he was the one to do it the first time in that way. Like, we know that Vince is so prone. Like, AJ Styles is not a WWE dude. So he's not going to give him that WWE royal treatment like he would Edge or Undertaker or Triple H or Stone Cold. There you go. So bums me out.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Like, AJ isn't going to get the big push right now. Probably not ever again, because he's getting up there in age. He didn't really build his name in the WWE. Like you said, Vince ain't going to really give him the opportunity now. So,
right, and the only way you could fast track him. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, he's gonna be jobbing to all the other names, developing the younger guys. I mean, he's a great wrestler and he's entertaining. I love watching him. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be in a title picture for a long time. So, I mean, at least not the heavyweight. Maybe one of the other titles, but we'll see.
Yeah. Now, and the only way they could at this point, I feel like, is the Money in the Bank or the Royal Rumble. That's the only way they could, like, fast track him into being in the main event without any big long build or explanation. Like, because we were supposed to get the real AJ Styles, and then they made him, like my brother said, man, they made him tank to Edge for him to start his new group, which was the real moment at WrestleMania. and AJ was just left laying there, not even like having the best match of night 2, just being there.
I'm gonna ask a question. Have they ever had a double Money in the Bank winner, like where 2 people win the Royal Rumble or something like that? Like
just men and women. Yeah, no, just men and women.
Have like
I believe it was John Cena and Batista both won the Royal Rumble back in the thing. I don't know if they continued or just have them both as winners.
They restarted the match, and Batista won.
The match, okay.
And Batista won, like he was supposed to.
I was trying to remember,
Yeah, because I know they had back when Brett and what's his name, Lex Luger won. They both won, and then they had to have the 2 matches in the same night or whatever. But it would be cool to have a dual Money in the Bank winner. Like,
no, they had like 2 titles before. Yeah. I feel you. But they did have 2 title like CM. Okay, so CM Punk won at SummerSlam against John Cena, but left. And while he was gone, they were like, "Well, he's not coming back, so we need a new champion." Ray won a tournament, and then Cena beat him. I think that same or the next week, and Cena was the new champion. Right after the match, CM Punk comes out, and now you got 2 titles. So they've done the 2 title thing before, but not the 2 briefcases or anything like that. So yeah.
That'd be. I mean,
it would be cool. It would be cool.
I'd like to see it.
I would too.
A dynamic 2 people claiming to be the Money in the Bank winner.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what you're saying now. I'll check this out. They have the 2 main titles. This is something they could possibly do, right? This is how I will do creative job for them, right? This is what they do here now, right? They pull off this dual Money in the Bank story, right? They have someone like Cody Rhodes win it, right? They have someone like AJ Styles win it. They have Roman Reigns defend the titles. 1, Cody Rhodes wins it. 2, AJ Styles wins it. Titles separate. All is safe in the world again.
Have
right?
Roman Reigns.
No shame to Roman Reigns. You're not damaging his reputation because it's 2 top stars that beat him. Right. This is what you do now is you're worried, these titles look shit. You have AJ Styles bring in a cool title. You have Cody Rhodes bring back the title his father won as remembrance and tribute to his father. Ooh, creative. Just did your job for you, bitches.
But don't ask to keep that title. All right. Can we just go to the Pat McAfee?
Skip that one.
Yeah, because
I just like to say, if that's okay, 2 seconds. New Day just needs to finish now. The shit with Rich Holland and Sheamus, right? Rich Holland's British, Sheamus is Irish. So is this Butch Cassidy bullshit that you're trying with flipping one of the most talented wrestlers from the UK. That's dumb. That's dumb.
I was like, what is this? Like, come on.
That's dumb. That's dumb. Yeah. He's literally one of the best guys ever. New Day stopped being entertainment for me 10 years ago already. That's just the same thing over and over. They need to do something different.
It's over.
Yeah.
I wish they would actually be heels, but whatever. So we got the 2 Pat McAfee matches next. One with Austin Theory, and then the other with McMahon. So he's 1-1 at WrestleMania. Both happened at the same night. But what do you guys think about these set of matches?
Listen, Pat McAfee, we know he can talk.
Right.
And after this match, we know he can walk the walk too, because in my opinion, and not a lot of people agree, he performed brilliantly.
Oh, yeah.
He did. I was going to say, he did a great job.
He did a good job.
I like it. Yeah. Like, Pat Mac, like, I keep hearing his name, and it's like, I know this name. I just didn't know where he was from. Then when I realized, he used to play for, that's where I know this from. Okay, so then it clicked with me. And I'm like, all right, so I know who he is. But the fact that he went out there and performed so well, the jump to the top rope, that was what?
The backflip, the attempted moonsault.
So I was like, all right, I mean, not the best match, obviously, but I was entertained. I liked it. Austin Theory played his role. I can say I don't like the gimmick that Austin Theory has, but I don't like it enough that it makes me want to see it because I want to see him get beat up.
I want to see
that's the type
Austin
of
Theory be a dickhead, but I don't like the camera stuff like Tyler Breeze.
And listen,
The
Austin
camera
Theory
thing is
he's very talented.
Yeah,
I'll
very.
give you that. He's very good. He is very good. Right? I just feel, as you say, this camera shit is bullshit. The selfie with all the people, it's dumb.
Yeah. That is kind of like it's catering to the millennials because that's their thing, taking selfies and things. So it's kind of making fun of them, so it's to rile the crowd up.
But it's lame though. It's not gonna get him anywhere. He's gonna change that gimmick one day, you know, like.
Yeah, as soon as he breaks away from McMahon.
Like, but what is he without the phone thing? Like a dickhead? Like you can be a dickhead without needing the phone thing. Like the phone, like nobody is like, oh, here he goes taking pictures again. Like nobody cares. That's what I'm saying. Like no one cares either way, and that's what they live on is a reaction. We're reacting to how much of a dickhead he is, not him taking a picture as being a dickhead. Like,
but you know what's something I appreciate about him though? You know what's something I appreciate about his character? They're not making him a coward.
Yes, that's another thing I do like.
Right.
That he is
That's what I appreciate.
Kinda is.
What I want to see is his next rivalry is with an actual wrestler now, right? I want to see the same sort of attitude that he's going to go up to the wrestler and slap him in the face. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. I
But-
don't want to see him cowered away now.
But he
He's
did.
got momentum now.
He
Even
did
though
have
he
a
lost,
moment.
He's still got momentum.
He did have a moment whenever he had slapped Pat McAfee down on the table on SmackDown right before Mania. He ran to the back and ran to Vince's office, and Pat was behind him. And Pat like thought about going in the office, and then he pushed the door open. And as soon as he did, Vince came coming out, and then right behind him, like a petulant child, was Austin Theory making snarky faces. So he's had cowardice moments. But you know, like not bad.
Traditional. It's not the traditional cowardness.
Yeah,
like they
I
always
don't
do.
mind that.
Yeah, no, not in the match, not in the match at all. I'm just saying, like he's just had like a flash of a moment, that's all. Like just one time.
Yeah, for sure.
What does he do with the pictures that he takes? Are they on social media at all?
I think they might, or he used to,
I
but
think the last I remember with Jeff Hardy, they did go on social media. I
That
did see
did.
that on social media. I don't know about the other one.
yeah, but they
That's
haven't
at least
fed
the
enough about it.
opportunity if they're not using those. Like,
Yeah, they're not.
What he should be doing is going up to the crowd, taking selfies, but then when he posts them, all the crowd is blurred out because, of course, WWE has to blur them out anyway for legal reasons. But it could be like that's his dickhead move of blurring out the crowd and just having himself.
That or having him being really happy in the picture, and then the crowd like looking like they're gonna attack him, and
The crowd is like,
yeah, and they're booing him or something, you know.
Yeah.
But either way, them showing the picture, I don't know. The pictures thing is dumb. I don't even want to give them reasons to keep using it. Like, don't abandon that. Abandon it. The McMahon.
I can see his talent, though.
Yeah. No, Theory's great. It's the phone shit. The okay, so the McMahon. This is. I mean, we don't have to spend too much time. We did have a beer bash with Stone Cold after this moment for what Vince did to Pat McAfee, but what
Stunner ever.
right and got the worst stunner ever.
There was two things.
But this we got.
One is sorry. I'm gonna go quick and I'm done. That's what I tell my wife.
Jesus.
When after the match, when Vince beat Pat McAfee and they played Austin Theory's music, you saw Vince look all shook because he was expecting to hear Stone Cold's music, so they already messed it up there. And then when Vince finally took the stunner, like it was like he was trying to run from it. Like, I don't want to get.
But listen, what we got to remember though, Vince, he's like 80 years old. How old is Vince?
I think he's 76,
You know what I mean?
78. Yeah.
So I don't know, like, yeah, bro.
It was.
But yeah, I think.
I mean, the best part of it was after Pat McAfee took the stunner and he was laid out drinking the beer.
Beer on the floor, yeah.
That was brilliant. The thing is, Pat McAfee plays his character better than a lot of superstars on the roster today play their gimmick.
Yeah, it was so good. That
You know?
Because all their stuff is totally unreasonable, unrealistic gimmicks. Like, no, like, who, like, I get it. Like you said, they're making fun of the millennials, but even then, like, no millennial is doing that many pictures in the span of an entrance the way they make him do it. So therefore, like, it's just like it's cheesiness. And if it's not gonna be like Razor Ramon's like bad guy gimmick where it's just like it's so fucking Bray Wyatt, it's so bad it's good. Like they like it's like Undertaker. It's a bad gimmick. And whenever people don't want to believe that, but whenever it first came out, it came off so cheesy and just not legitimate. But over time, him being so good with it and sticking with it, like, you know, like you said, Pat is just better at doing what he's doing because he knows how to do it and is truly an extension of him. Whereas what everybody else is doing is what a writer told him to do or Vince's imagination.
Playing a role, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, guys. Last match of the night. And to me, this is probably one of the worst like, minus all the gimmick matches, you know, like actual wrestling matches, this to me might be the worst one out of
Listen, and you might be shocked when I say this. Putting it from the point of view you just put it, if you take away all the gimmick and all the dumb matches, right, this is the worst match on the card. And that is wrong, considering what is represented in this match. Right? Mm-hmm. I can be glad that my tribal chief is the champion of both brands and everything, but the reality of the situation is this quite possibly is the worst match of all the decent matches. And you're 100% right on that. Like, when Awesome says all it was spears, Superman punches, F5s, that's what we expected from this, you know, and we kind of got it, right? To be honest, what I didn't expect was one, the Kimura lock, right? Mm-hmm. And then the spear for the win. I didn't expect that. I thought
that came out of nowhere. That finish came out.
That was literally. I didn't expect it to be like that, right?
It was almost like the thing. We're out of time. Let's go.
Well, I heard Roman got injured. I heard Roman got legitimately injured. His
shoulder was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What I didn't like about this is you had 4 weeks. You had 4 weeks, 5 weeks of Brock Lesnar saying, "I'm out for blood. I want your blood, Roman. Blood for blood, Roman." And nobody bled in the match. Do you understand my problem here? Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that Brock Lesnar did a bad job. I'm not saying that. I'm saying is they built it up, but they didn't utilize something they built up themselves.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Brother, how many times out of these 14 episodes have we said WWE is the king of starting out on the right perfect foot, and as soon as they get to step 3, they forgot what they did at step 1. These are the same people. These are the same people that had Roman and Brock at day 1 and panicked because Roman got sick and said, "Okay, well, let's throw everything at the wall the next 2 weeks, and then we'll have to rebook everything just to get us right back to Roman and Brock."
Do you know what would have been
the same thing?
Is if you know what's the problem with this match is Brock Lesnar's just gone, and it's not just because he's gone; it's because that's how they planned it, which is dumb. If they wanted Roman Reigns to look even better than he's supposedly looking right now, is they would have had Brock Lesnar try to come back and then Roman Reigns spears him, and Roman Reigns puts him down again.
I think it's the whole match, man. The whole match is bad. Like, yeah, I get you. I get you. I just think it's the whole match. It's just bad.
right? It's no
A
secret.
dud.
I'm a Brock Lesnar fan, right? I've said plenty of times. He's the alpha, and Corey Graves agrees with me. He's the alpha species. He's the alpha of our species, right? I agree with it, 100%, right? But I'm a tribal chief, supporter. But that's because if Brock's not there, Roman Reigns is the guy.
Yeah, see, and
Right?
that's the
He's the
problem
guy that Vince has chosen to be on top.
Vince chose him. That's the problem.
Right?
Right.
No, but that's the thing. But that's just the thing about it, though. You know what I mean? He is chosen.
But that's the problem.
Right.
Vince always preaches get yourself over, yet he always chooses the champion. Other than Stone Cold, everybody has always been a plan for him. Granted, I understand, yeah, you almost fired Cena, blah, blah, blah. But there was nobody then that you were going to, like, you say get them over, and all you mean is do you want to do media and can you hold great merchandise sales? That's it. Not can you have good matches? Will you be consistent from week to week? Will you make this shit matter? Like, he doesn't care about that.
This is something that Undertaker brings up in almost every interview, right? And if Undertaker's saying it, Vince McMahon believes it too, because these guys are best friends, guys. Undertaker and Vince McMahon. If Undertaker's saying that today's product does not have enough grit, it doesn't.
Say it. Ain't enough men.
Right?
I'll say it. Ain't enough men. They all want to pander and kiss ass. Ain't enough men.
Listen.
There's males, but not men.
No one. Listen. If you have a look at Undertaker, right? WCW didn't think of poaching him because they knew his loyalty to the company. Right? Everybody else that did end up leaving had the balls to leave. You know what I'm saying?
And stand behind them leaving.
The only time someone has the balls to leave the current WWE product is when they get released, so they can bitch for 4 months about it and then arrive at AEW.
And then be irrelevant after that.
You know what I'm saying? Listen,
and repeat.
Where is Miro? Where is Miro right now?
Look what they did to Adam Cole. Look what they did to Kyle O'Reilly. Look what they did to Bobby Fish. Miro. Like,
who are they?
Miro
hasn't been on TV.
Mr. Black.
Easy.
Man.
See,
the thing is, that's the problem, right?
One of the main issues I have, and the problem for me, is that realistically, within the wrestling ring, they built Brock and Roman Reigns to be so, like, Superman, like, unbeatable, that only they can face each other. Who else on the roster is going to beat either one of them? It's like, back in the day, you could have somebody like Diesel, and I could see Bret Hart realistically beating Diesel, even though Diesel was supposedly so much stronger than him. But now you have a Roman Reigns who's supposed to be so powerful. I can't see Cody Rhodes realistically beating Roman Reigns. The way they set it up, like, as far as wrestling, I know Cody can beat Roman, but the way they set it up is like, realistically, how does Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns?
Because they don't build them like they used to, bro. They don't build them like they used to.
Going to what you said.
It's not building like they used to. It's just the way they build up the top stars or the big.
That's what I'm saying.
He's so unbeatable. It's unreal.
That's what I'm saying. They don't build other people up. They build the stars, but they don't build the other people around their main stars up like they used to. So you have a constant shuffle.
Just like the Hell in a Cell, when Brock came out and just demolished everybody. It was like, okay, so what was the point of even having them in there? For him just to come out and just destroy everybody. Like, so.
Listen, going to your point of sales, Fitz, you had two men that were selling merchandise in a big way, or at least selling the character in such a big way, right? One of them, obviously, Bray Wyatt. But the end of the story there is WWE in that regard are jealous and are sore losers of the fact that it's not their product. That it came out of Bray Wyatt's mind and not Bruce Pritchard's mind, or whoever the flippin' dumb creative are now. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem there.
Earlier. Yep.
That is the problem there.
And that's why anytime Bray Wyatt stepped in the ring, they wanted to ruin him. That's why they gave him that dumbass rubber mallet and all that other stuff. Like,
take a look at the second guy, right? And this is another person possibly now realizing they could have taken the title off of Roman Reigns because he could have built towards it easily enough, and that's Elias. Elias was big, right? The guy can't sing for shit, but his song managed to be on the top 3 of iTunes or whatever for so long. Do you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
The crowd was so behind him. They were so behind him. Now you got some flippin' unshaven ass-looking clown coming to the ring in.
Oh man. And it goes back to Vince thinking that he knows what the people want more than the people know.
You know what? I don't even think it's Vince anymore. Right, and I think I touched on this a few months ago. I think it's whoever's in Vince's ear. Right, you got people in Vince's ear saying, "Listen, Vince, this is in now, man. This is in. Oh yeah, Bruce Pritchard, you've been with me for so many years. Let's go with this." Do you know what I mean? Like,
It could be that too.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. It hurts me in a way that, because we talk wrestling. I showed you guys the clips of my little wrestlers that I created in my old games, and that I used to love wrestling. Like, I would catch everything all the time, and now it's like I still enjoy watching it, but I'm only watching the pay-per-views, and I don't really care the week-to-week stories and all this stuff. I just and it's like, I don't know. It's not the same. It's just not the same.
And
it's not even like it's not even like the spot heavy where it's always got to be a big move after big move after big move. Because like we said, the match with Cody, like that's nice, good old school wrestling. I liked it. It wasn't too slow. It wasn't like spot after spot after spot. And not every match I see is like that, but it's just not an excitement around it anymore for me. It's like I'm interested in a lot of the people, but it's like it's not must-see TV for me anymore. It just feels like it's stale because it's almost like nothing is important except the championship, the heavyweight titles. That's how I feel when I'm watching wrestling.
But even then, if you were so accustomed to watching it every week, you would even feel then that the championship didn't mean that much. Because me and Pop D have talked about like what is the and I don't think there's one problem, and that's like I'm with him. We blame Vince for what we know Vince did, like Vince letting go of everybody and giving them to AEW, Vince not knowing who to use. Like, these are Vince problems. Now, all this other stuff, I can't always say it's Vince, but I think the true disconnect is we have old school wrestling, which is real wrestling. We have modern wrestling is what they think real wrestling is. And then you have sports entertainment and indie wrestling. And all of them just swirl about in this toilet. And there's nobody that wants to stand up and be like, this is not wrestling. We don't go to a basketball game and they say, oh, well, we should use a Nerf basketball today because it's more colorful and bounces higher. Like, yeah, it's still a basketball, but it's not a basketball regulated for the NBA. So we're not going to use that basketball. Like, they don't understand, like, the young guys, for example. I was telling Pop Eat this. I really wish the people wrestling now will understand less is more. Knowing what you want to do when you want to do it is more than just going out there and throwing everything against the wall every night.
Yeah, it's about telling.
It goes a lot that goes into it.
What got me on the thoughts of who is in Vince's ear is everyone is blaming Vince for the releases, but we're not looking at who's putting the lists forward to Vince.
Right. Like the Bullet Club, they got fired because of Paul Heyman, not Vince.
Nick Khan is the guy that's pushing the list forward for Vince to go. He's just the guy that has to approve it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like blaming the king, but his advisors are advising him on it. Do you know what I mean?
It's a group decision, like Vince always said.
Congress doing all the crap. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Gonna make this all political.
Well, before we get out of here, y'all, what is your match? What was your match of Mania? Who was your wrestler of Mania? Because we always do the wrestler of the week. Who was your match or your wrestler of WrestleMania week, the whole weekend?
Ooh.
Listen, if I could just put this fairly, because I think it maybe needs to be done. I think we need to maybe, and I don't think a lot of people will appreciate this, but I think we need to just separate the genders for this, in this regard, right? Because, and I'm not being, no, honestly.
No, I get you.
Right?
No, yeah, you good.
Because I feel that, for example's sake, that my female wrestler of WrestleMania would be Bianca Bel-Air. Even though I don't like, or something's off about a gimmick, I feel that she was the female star of
Agreed.
the week or of
Agreed.
WrestleMania weekend.
Agreed.
Right? And I feel the female match of the week would be hers with Becky Lynch. Right? That's what I feel. Right? And I feel it needs to be noted too. But at the same time, I can't have that be my match of the night, because I feel that there's more than one deserving situation. Right?
Oh God!
And I know a lot of people are going to think that I'm going to say my Tribal Chiefs match was the best, and he was. Much popular belief, Cody Rhodes stole the show at the end of the day. Him and Seth Rollins, their match, stole the show, and Cody Rhodes coming back, he's the rest of the week.
Okay.
For me.
I can agree with that.
I'm agreeing with that too.
So, match, as far as like I was entertained by a lot of the matches, but if I'm gonna go like the match that I would want to watch again, I would say Cody and Seth Rollins. And I don't really like Seth Rollins that much, but it was
me either. And that's what blows my mind, JKL. That fucking blows my mind, bro. I don't like. I'm just not. I don't even dislike Seth as much as I dislike even then, like what he's decided to do gimmick wise. But I don't feel good or bad about Seth. It's just like, yeah, he can work, and that's about it. Like Seth Rollins, but like what you said, Pop. You could ask D. Was it? We have a little another wrestling group, D and a few other people. Like, and I asked, like, who do y'all see having that match with Cody? Because I don't see who he has that match with, and it's that good. Like just all of it. Like Seth coming out the way he did, and selling being upset whenever Cody got announced, and I believe that he didn't know who it was, even though we knew. But I'm sure he had a feeling, or Vince told him, like he had to have known who his opponent was going to be, even if they never locked up. So it's just like, I just don't see it. I have so many favorites, like Finn Balor. No, don't want to see that. I don't want to see Finn and Cody in his first match back. AJ, don't want to see it, even though I don't want to see AJ in the position he was tonight. Like, I don't think this helps him. So it's just like, I don't think it helps either. Like, I don't know who he had, and it was a beautiful thing, because it's like, it's times like that in wrestling. It's like, it was so scripted, but nobody. It was so unscripted at the same time, just all of it. So I agree with you, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it blows my mind that I want to go watch that match now, and I don't even like Seth, but Seth winning the title at WrestleMania a few years back. That's another damn good match, and he came at that match out of nowhere. It was supposed to be Brock versus Roman for like the second time at that point, or third time, and Seth interjected himself and won, and that was the best thing that happened all of WrestleMania. So he has those moments where it's just like, this is why they keep this motherfucker around. Yeah.
It's just like you said, like, I don't really care for him, and, whether he was there or not, I would have been like, whatever. But in this situation, he was the perfect person for this match, and it worked. It worked. And I think the match was definitely the match of WrestleMania. Cody was the guy. If I had to go females, I was shaking my head when Poppy was talking, not because I disagreed with him, but it's just funny because he was like, he thinks Bianca Bel-Air, even though he doesn't like her gimmick, and I'm going the other way because I think it's Becky Lynch, even though I don't really like her right now.
She did a good job putting Bianca over, is what you're saying.
It was like, I was just shaking my head at that because it's like we picking people we don't really like, but yeah, it fits.
It's kind of for the same reason, like
yeah,
same reason. It was a great women's match. I liked it. Actually, I say Triple H was my wrestler of the night because I wasn't expecting him to be there. He came out and I was like, "Oh my God, Triple H!"
Listen, and I'm actually shocked as being one of the biggest. Triple H is my favorite wrestler of all time. Right?
Man.
He is. And I'm shocked that I actually forget this. I'm embarrassed. I should be embarrassed. Is the fact that he actually came out and he officially retired in front of the crowd, and I didn't acknowledge it.
But you'll acknowledge Roman.
Acknowledging the tribal chief a little bit too much. I think
just you're nestling at the chief queef teat too much, and you done slipped right by the game. You got played by the game.
Obviously, we don't want to spend too much on this, but I feel that they're not giving Triple H enough for his retirement.
We're going to talk about Triple H next week, brother. We're going to talk about Triple H next week for sure, because that is my favorite heel of all time, and it's not even close. He's not my favorite wrestler, but he's my favorite heel, and I promise it ain't even close. You know? So I've said that for years. Like, people got annoyed with him around the time Randy Orton Batista came in, or they always thought he was the guy that got other people over or had the match with the people. But Triple H is a founding father of DX. Like, he's always had a mouthpiece. He loves wrestling. He created NXT. Like, he put over all the wrestlers we love now. He vouched for them way ahead of most of us. Like, whatever we want to say about him marrying Steph, like, you wouldn't marry Steph if you could, not just for the money, but how bad she is. Nobody? No? Am I the only one that would marry Steph? Okay. So I'm not mad at Triple H.
If I was in his position, I would do the same thing.
Right. So, exactly.
Simple.
Exactly.
Like I said,
exactly. No, it's other people, brother. It's not nobody here. Whenever I say y'all, I mean other people. Like, these are in the wrestling world. POPDHEAT knows these are big complaints in the wrestling world, and I don't think that they always fit certain guys because there's so many shitheads in wrestling, and Triple H isn't one. I don't care if you don't agree with his booking. I understand I didn't like how he treated CM Punk. I think that was one of my biggest problems with Triple H, is that he maybe did or didn't have this big gripe, but the fact that he didn't vouch for guys like CM Punk or Cody Rhodes or John Cena or Batista, people like that, like towards the end of their careers there, it really bothers me because his word would probably mean a lot. Like, he literally, Samoa Joe got fired, and he literally went and rehired him before he got fired again. You know, like, that's the sort of thing Triple H has done and will do. Is just, I wish he was consistent with it. But, you know, he's doing other things now. You know, he's living his life. So, is what it is. Is what it is. Fellas, this was fun, man. This was fun.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, we definitely got to get this on and see about maybe getting D on here and get the four of us together and we can talk some wrestling. Yeah, get the books open, crack something open. Y'all got anything to add?
I want to ask you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick at the end. First of all, I dropped a new video today, so go watch it. But
go check it out.
Other than that, have you guys watched WW Evil? It's a show on Peacock. It's like an original show.
Yep.
Okay, I've watched maybe the first 4 episodes. It's like, I'm digging this show. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask if you guys were watching that.
It's good. I have
no idea what it is.
Yeah, my only problem is I know a lot of that stuff that they already showed us, And I wish whenever I watch certain stuff like that is that they would tell me things I didn't know. But other than that, it's still good. It's still really good. So don't get me wrong. It's just
It's
I
good
know a
for
lot of that
me
stuff.
in the sense that, like with oh Jesus, how I forget her name already. The boss,
Becky
What's her name?
or Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks. There you go. Like I didn't know her story, so seeing that and hearing that was great. Like the whole Ric Flair thing, I knew most of that. Randy Orton, I knew most of that.
Right.
So yeah, I get what you're saying. A lot of it is like, yeah, it's not new information, but some of it was new information.
Yeah.
And for the people I'm not as familiar with, it was good.
Yeah, it's still really good.
Yet, but so far from what I've seen, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, y'all go check out JKL for sure. He puts up videos quite frequently throughout the week. Y'all go check out Pop the Heat. Pop the Heat got a young 2K tournament going on right now over here on his channel.
Oh, so good.
It's pretty dope. He's got some gameplay up of the game and stuff like that. His 2K journey of my career. So y'all go check out Pop the Heat, man. He got some stuff cooking up over there wrestling.
Listen, watch the latest episode.
Why are you not in the episode? Wrestling Federation, Fat? Come on, where you at?
I didn't know I wasn't in. I told him he could use my character.
There's things in the works, guys. We can't just have all the fantastic.
Okay, I was gonna say I told him he could use my character.
Listen, listen, man. If you guys haven't watched it, you got to watch the latest episode or the first episode of the All Heat tournament.
Yes.
I made it.
Go check it out.
Blown away.
I'm so happy.
I went horse halfway through the video, and I can rewatch it over and over. And I know it's so some good. Weird shit saying because I created it, but like, man,
no, it's good.
You did a good. I mean, you did a good job. You did a good job.
Excited about it. It's something special, just to say.
When you first approached me about doing it, and you put out the first videos way back, watch some of the older videos he did too. Those I told you that was like stuff me and my boys would do when we were tired of fighting each other. We put our characters on computer and we'd sit there and root for our characters. Why are you doing? Oh my God! And it's just as exciting as watching an actual wrestling match because it's just you're so invested in your character. So watching my character stand out there and do stuff that I'm like, why are you doing? Go there, jump around. And even when I'm watching the other characters, like somebody who I want to win, it's like, oh, I want to see this character win. It's like,
right.
Yeah, you get excited behind it, man. Yep. So, yeah, it's really good. It's real fun, too. And then you're announcing sometimes, like...
I forget. I get too excited.
I like when you forgot the name of the move. I just watched it. What was the move the guy... I forgot what it was myself right now, but... Like you said, half of the move and forgot the rest, and then they did another. You just skipped it. You're like, whatever.
Right.
But it was funny. It's good though. I like it, and I can't wait to see the rest. I mean, my character going up against the Barbarian. That's going to be a good one.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God, the Barbarian. All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you coming through, JKL, man. It's always fun talking wrestling.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you on again, y'all. We appreciate everybody that peeps these out. Y'all, stay tuned, man. We got stuff working. Maybe we get some 2K22 on here one day. Me versus Pop the Heat live, because they always got the friend versus friend gameplay. So we can always maybe do something with that or get a tag team match or something like that. Who knows, So
yeah, I gotta buy 2K.
Yeah. I'm gonna be getting it soon.
Game since 2006. Jeez.
Oh man, that's a while ago. Jeez.
That's the last game I played. It was 2006. Oh my God. Let's go.
All right, y'all. We getting up out here. We appreciate it, man. Y'all take it easy.